All right, buckle up, everyone, because we're diving headfirst into a topic that's got the motorsports world buzzing. No less than Cadillac jumping into the Formula One grid come 2026.
Big news indeed.
And we've got some solid intel to break down straight from Formula One's own website and some in-depth analysis from The Independent. So think of this deep dive as your express lane to getting F1 savvy on all things Cadillac and Formula One.
A crash course, if you will.
Precisely. Now, first things first, this is a pretty big deal, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we haven't seen a new team enter F1 in a decade, so yeah, it's huge.
So just to make sure everyone's on the same page, the FIA, the folks who basically run the show in motorsports, they've officially given the green light, right?
Yeah, they have, along with Formula One management. So, yep, all systems go. Cadillac's officially the 11th team gearing up for the championship.
11 teams. That's a packed grid.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be a tight race.
Okay, so now let's talk about the players behind this American Dream Team. Who are the key forces bringing this all together?
Well, it's actually a pretty powerful trio. You've got General Motors, of course, then Cadillac itself, and then this motorsports group called TWG Motorsports.
A real powerhouse alliance.
Yeah, and they're not just dipping their toes in the water, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They've stated outright their goal is to be a full-blown works team by the end of the decade.
Works team. Now, for those of us who aren't hardcore F1 fans, break that down a bit. What does that actually mean?
Sure. It means they're aiming to design and build everything in-house, the chassis, engine, the whole shebang. It's a huge undertaking, a real statement of intent.
Wow, so they're in it to win it.
Oh, yeah. They're not messing around.
But 2026 is still a while away. What are they doing right now to prepare?
They're not sitting idle, that's for sure. First off, they've struck a deal with Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Yeah. They'll be supplying Cadillac with engines and gearboxes for the interim.
Ah, smart move. Get a solid foundation while they build up their own operations.
Exactly. Gives them time to focus on getting their infrastructure in place.
Makes sense. So where are they setting up shop?
Well, it's kind of a transatlantic operation, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Their main HQ is going to be in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Of course, the heart of American motorsports.
Right. But they're also setting up a base near Silverstone in the UK.
Silverstone. The hub for a lot of the existing F1 teams.
Yeah, it's where the action is.
So they're really going for a global approach from day one.
Seems like it. Tapping into both the American racing legacy and the established F1 scene in Europe.
Interesting strategy.
Yeah.
But what about the brains behind the operation? Who's leading this charge?
Well, the team principal, the guy at the helm, is Graeme Lowdon. You might recognize the name.
Graeme Lowdon, yeah. He's been around the F1 block a few times, hasn't he?
He has. And he knows how to build a team from scratch. He was instrumental in bringing Virgin Racing into the sport back in 2010.
Oh, right. Virgin Racing. I remember that.
So he's got the experience. He's been there, done that.
Okay, so experience at the top. What about the rest of the team? You can't build an F1 operation with just one guy, right?
Absolutely not. It takes a village. They've already assembled a team of like over 200 people, and it's growing.
That's a lot of people.
It is. And they've got some big names on board, too, like Nick Chester and Pat Simons. Both of them are former technical specialists from Renault, another big player in F1.
Wow, serious credentials. But, I mean, that's still a far cry from those massive teams we see in F1, right?
Oh, yeah. To really compete with the top dogs, they'll need to ramp up their personnel significantly. We're talking closer to like 1,000 people or more. That's the standard for the teams that are consistently fighting for the championship.
1,000 people, that's an entire company.
It is. F1 is a massive undertaking, and it takes a huge team effort.
Okay, so we've got the people, the facilities, a temporary engine deal. What about the actual racing? What are their goals on the track? Are they aiming for podium finishes right out of the gate?
Well, Cadillac has been very vocal about their ambitions. They haven't been shy about saying they want to be competitive from the get-go.
You're ambitious, but, I mean, it's a steep learning curve in F1, right?
Oh, for sure. They've acknowledged that. They know it takes time to build a top-tier F1 team. They're aiming high, but also being realistic.
It's a balancing act.
It is.
Okay, speaking of balancing acts, I think everyone's dying to know who's going to be behind the wheel. Any inside scoop on potential drivers?
The driver lineup is the million-dollar question, isn't it? But no official announcements yet.
The suspense is killing me.
I know, right? But Graeme Lowdon has said they're committed to hiring based on merit, pure and simple, which makes sense. You want the best drivers you can get.
Of course.
But he's also hinted, and this is interesting, that he sees no reason why they wouldn't have American drivers in the future.
Now, that would be huge, especially for American fans.
Oh, absolutely. It would be a game changer for F1 in the U.S.
Okay, so no names yet, but the door's open for American talent.
Wide open, it seems.
All right, so while we wait with bated breath for the official driver announcement, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the bigger picture here. What does Cadillac's entry mean for F1 as a whole? I mean, it's not every day that a major car manufacturer like Cadillac decides to jump into the F1 circus.
No, it's not. This isn't just one team joining the grid. It's potentially a major shift for F1 globally. And, it's happening at a really interesting time, too, with some big rule changes coming in 2026, especially with the engines.
Right, those 2026 regulations, they've been mentioned a few times now. Can you break those down for us? What are these changes and why are they such a big deal?
Sure. So, in a nutshell, the 2026 season is going to see a massive shift towards hybrid technology in F1. The new power units, which are essentially the heart of the race cars, will have a much bigger electric component.
So more electric power, less reliance on traditional combustion engines. What does that mean for the racing itself?
Well, for starters, it means the cars are going to be even faster and more efficient. But it also reflects what's happening in the wider automotive industry, this global move towards electric vehicles.
So Cadillac isn't just coming to F1 to race. They're also using it as a platform to develop and showcase their future technologies.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that makes this move so significant. It shows that a major car manufacturer like Cadillac sees real value in F1, not just as a marketing tool, but as a real-world testing ground for the future of cars.
That's a really interesting point. So you've got this major car manufacturer entering F1 at a time when the sport is undergoing a technological revolution. It's like a perfect storm brewing.
You could say that.
But what does this mean for the other teams on the grid? How are they going to react to this new player on the block?
Well, competition is always a good thing, right? It forces everyone to step up their game. So, Cadillac's entry is bound to shake things up a bit.
Push the other teams to innovate and improve.
Exactly. They'll have to up their game in terms of car development, driver recruitment, everything. And, those 2026 engine regulations, they're designed to level the playing field, which could make things even more interesting.
So it's a challenge for the established teams, but also an opportunity for the sport as a whole to evolve and become even more competitive.
Yeah.
Fascinating. But we're just getting started.
We've only scratched the surface. It's easy to get lost in the big picture of it all,
Right.
The technology, the strategies, the global impact. But at the end of the day, F1 is about people.
It is. It's the drivers pushing these incredible machines to the limit, the engineers meticulously designing every single component, the mechanics working tirelessly in the pits. It's all about human talent and dedication.
Absolutely. And now, with Cadillac coming into the mix, we're going to see a whole new cast of characters enter the F1 world.
A whole new team dynamic.
Exactly. And, I think one of the most interesting things to watch will be how Cadillac builds their team, what kind of culture they create, what values they prioritize.
It's like building a family, You need the right mix of personalities, skills, and experience to create that kind of bond, that shared purpose, especially when you're operating under so much pressure.
Oh, absolutely. And it all starts with the drivers. They're the face of the team, the ones who carry the hopes and dreams of everyone involved.
And of course, we've already touched on some of the names being thrown around, Valtteri Bottas, Colton Herta. But beyond the speculation, what kind of driver profile do you think Cadillac will be looking for? What qualities are going to be essential?
Well, first and foremost, they'll need drivers who are incredibly skilled, obviously, experienced, capable of consistently pushing the car to its limits and getting that absolute maximum performance.
So not just speed, but precision.
Yeah, it's all about those fine margins in F1, those tiny differences that can make the difference between winning and losing.
It's a game of inches.
It really is. And then there's the mental side of things, which is just as important. F1 drivers are under immense pressure, both on and off the track.
It's a high-stakes world.
It is. They need to be mentally tough, resilient, and, able to handle the intense scrutiny that comes with being in the spotlight.
One mistake can cost you the race.
Exactly. And let's not forget about teamwork. F1 drivers don't operate in isolation.
Right.
They need to work very closely with their engineers, mechanics, strategists to really achieve that optimal performance.
It's a collaborative effort more than any other racing series, I think.
It really is.
So effective communication is key.
Absolutely crucial. So, when Cadillac is evaluating potential drivers, they're going to be looking at a whole range of factors: skill, experience, mental fortitude, and that ability to work effectively as part of a team.
It's a tall order, but I'm sure there are drivers out there who tick all the boxes.
There are, but it's going to be interesting to see who Cadillac goes for.
Right. What kind of statement do they want to make?
Exactly. Will they go with a seasoned veteran, someone with a proven track record of success, or will they take a chance on a young up-and-comer?
That's a fascinating question, and I think whatever decision they make will send ripples throughout the driver market.
Oh, definitely. The driver lineup will tell us a lot about their overall approach to F1.
But of course, it's not just about the drivers. There's a whole army of people behind the scenes who are absolutely essential to success in F1.
Oh, absolutely. The engineers, the mechanics, the strategists, the data analysts, you name it.
The unsung heroes.
They really are.
So let's talk a little bit about the engineers. I mean, what kind of skills and expertise do they bring to the table?
Well, F1 engineers are some of the most brilliant minds in the world, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, they're experts in aerodynamics, materials, science, engine design, you name it. Their job is to push the boundaries of technology, to squeeze every ounce of performance out of that car.
It's like designing a spaceship.
It really is. Every single component has to be meticulously crafted and optimized.
And it's such a competitive field. I mean, the engineers are constantly innovating, right? They're always looking for that tiny edge that can make a difference.
Absolutely. They're always one step ahead.
And it's not just about designing the car. They also have to analyze data, make adjustments during the race, adapt to changing conditions. I mean, it's a huge responsibility.
Whoa, it is. They're the brains of the operation. They have to think on their feet, make decisions under pressure. It's a high-pressure environment, but also incredibly rewarding, I imagine.
Yeah. Seeing your designs come to life and compete at the highest level must be an incredible feeling.
I bet.
And then you have the mechanics, the folks who actually keep those cars running smoothly.
Right. The ones working tirelessly in the pits, making repairs, changing tires, keeping everything in tip-top shape. And they have to be incredibly skilled and efficient.
Yeah, those pit stops are insane. The speed and precision, it's mind-blowing.
It's like a perfectly choreographed dance. Every movement is precise and every second counts.
They're the backbone of the team. They don't always get the recognition they deserve.
True.
And then there are the strategists, the ones who make those crucial decisions during the race.
Right. They're the ones who analyze all the data, track the competition, and make those split-second calls that can make or break a race.
It's like playing chess at 200 miles an hour.
Exactly.
They have to anticipate their opponent's moves, assess the risks, make decisions that will give their team the best possible chance of success. It's incredible.
It is. It's a fascinating mix of science, strategy, and, gut feeling.
Intuition.
Yeah. And it's all happening in real time with the whole world watching. So, when we talk about Cadillac's success in F1, it's not just going to depend on their drivers and their car. It's about the whole package.
And the entire team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The engineers, the mechanics, the strategists, everyone plays a part. They're
Yeah.
going to need to build a world-class team in every aspect.
It's about building a culture of excellence, a shared commitment to pushing the limits, to achieving something truly special.
That's it. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels valued, respected, and empowered to do their best work. And that takes time, effort, and a shared vision.
It's about more than just technical skill, isn't it? It's about creating a team spirit, a sense of camaraderie that binds everyone together.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something that Cadillac will need to cultivate if they want to succeed in the long term. F1 is a demanding sport, both mentally and physically, and it takes a special kind of team to thrive in that environment.
So yeah, they have a lot of work ahead of them, but they've got the resources, they've got the ambition. It'll be fascinating to see how they approach this challenge.
I agree. This is a team with a lot of potential. They could really shake things up in F1.
They could. But, as we delve deeper into this, I think it's important to step back for a moment and consider the broader context here.
Okay.
Because F1 is more than just a sport, right?
Right.
It's a global phenomenon. It's a reflection of, the cultural, technological, economic trends of our time. It's a stage where nations compete, technologies are showcased, stories are told that really resonate far beyond the racetrack.
It's true. It's a microcosm of the world in many ways.
And Cadillac's entry into this world, it adds another layer of complexity to this already fascinating tapestry.
Definitely. I mean, Cadillac is such an iconic American brand. It represents innovation, performance, a certain kind of, the certain kind of spirit. And their arrival in F1, it kind of signals a shift in the global automotive landscape.
A recognition that F1 is a powerful force.
Exactly. It's a testament to the enduring appeal of motorsports, I think, that even a brand like Cadillac, with its legacy, feels the need to be a part of it. It's a fascinating time to be following F1. We're witnessing this convergence of technological advancements, shifting economic powers, evolving cultural trends, and it's all playing out on this global stage of international motorsport.
It really is a microcosm of the world.
Yeah.
And Cadillac's entry just adds another layer of intrigue to the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. And it raises so many questions, too. Will they embrace the traditions of the sport? Will they try to shake things up, forge their own path? How will they navigate this complex world? We're all waiting to see what happens.
It's a story that's just beginning to unfold. But for now, let's bring it back down to earth for a moment. We've talked a lot about, the big picture stuff. But what does all this mean for the average F1 fan? What can they actually expect to see when Cadillac hits the track in 2026?
That's a good question. I think for the average fan, Cadillac entering F1 just brings a whole new level of excitement. They're a fresh face, a new contender in a sport that's often dominated by the same familiar names, and that's exciting.
The chance to shake things up a bit, introduce
Yeah.
some unpredictability.
Exactly. And, Cadillac's American heritage, that's going to resonate with fans, especially in the U.S., where F1 has just exploded in popularity recently. It's like a homecoming in a way. An American icon stepping back onto the world stage, ready to challenge the best of the best.
A classic underdog story.
Yeah, it's got all the makings of a great narrative. Fans will be rooting for them to succeed, to prove that an American team can compete at the highest level. It's a story about ambition, determination, striving for excellence, which are all, pretty core to the American spirit, right?
Absolutely. It's going to be a captivating journey, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But, amidst all the drama and excitement, let's not forget the practicalities here for a moment. Cadillac has said they want to be competitive right from the start, but are they really prepared for what it takes to succeed in F1? What are some of the challenges they might face as they transition from the world of road cars to, this high-stakes world of Formula One?
Well, one of the biggest challenges for any new team coming into F1 is just the sheer learning curve. It's incredibly steep. It's a very specialized sport with its own unique set of rules and regulations, a lot of technical complexity. It takes time to build up the expertise and infrastructure to compete at the highest level.
You can't just buy your way to the top.
No, you can't. Patience is key. And they're also going to have to adapt to the culture of F1, which is incredibly fast-paced, demanding, intensely competitive. It's a world where every single decision, every tiny detail can have a huge impact on the outcome.
So it's not just about having a fast car and talented drivers. It's about building a team that can operate effectively under immense pressure, a team that can adapt and evolve quickly.
Exactly. And, then there's strategy. F1 is as much a mental game as a physical one. Teams need to be smart about tire strategy, pit stops, race tactics. They need to be able to outmaneuver their rivals both on and off the track.
It's a strategic battle.
It really is.
It's a game of chess at 200 miles per hour
Yeah.
with, millions of dollars in global prestige at stake.
You got it. And Cadillac will need to master this element of the sport if they want to be truly successful.
It's a lot to take on, but I think they're up to the challenge.
I do too. They've got a lot going for them.
They've got a proven track record in other forms of motorsport. They're bringing a fresh perspective, and they're certainly not short on resources.
And, their decision to partner with experienced F1 personnel, people like Graeme Lowdon and Nick Chester, that was a smart move.
Bringing in the veterans.
Yeah, those guys bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. That's going to be invaluable as Cadillac tries to navigate this complex world. It's a really interesting combination.
Yeah.
You've got Cadillac's ambition and resources on the one hand, and then the experience and know-how of these seasoned F1 veterans on the other.
A potent mix.
It is.
It looks good on paper, but of course the real test will be on the track.
That's where it all comes down to it.
And that's what makes F1 so captivating.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a sport where anything can happen, where underdog stories can unfold, where we're constantly surprised by the unexpected.
Every race is a new chapter.
Exactly. And with Cadillac entering the fray, I think we're in for some really memorable moments, some exciting races.
I think so too. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do.
Me too. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think it's important to acknowledge that, Cadillac's journey in F1, it's just beginning.
It is. It's the first page of a brand new chapter.
We're at the start of a long and winding road, and, who knows what twists and turns lie ahead, what challenges they'll face, what opportunities will arise. But one thing is for sure, it's going to be a fascinating ride.
It is. We'll be here for all of it.
Absolutely. analyzing every move,
Hmm.
celebrating the victories, dissecting the defeats, because that's what makes F1 so compelling. It's a sport that's constantly evolving, always pushing the boundaries.
And now with Cadillac joining the party, it's only going to get more exciting.
Exactly. All right, we've covered a lot of ground here, but we've got more to explore. We've really dug deep into all the technical stuff, the strategies, the potential impact on F1 as a sport.
Right.
But there's another side to this whole Cadillac joining F1 thing that we haven't really touched on yet.
Okay.
And that's the cultural impact. Because F1, it's not just about, cars going around a track.
Yeah, no.
It's this global phenomenon. It's got a huge, passionate fan base. It's a whole culture unto itself.
It's become a real cultural touchstone, you're right.
Yeah. And Cadillac stepping onto this global stage, it could have ripple effects that go way beyond the racetrack.
Oh, absolutely. It's a big deal.
So let's start with the U.S.
Okay.
F1's popularity here has just exploded in recent years.
It has.
What role do you think Cadillac can play in, further boosting the sport's appeal, especially to American audiences?
Well, I think it's huge, honestly.
Yeah.
Cadillac is such an American icon, right?
Oh, yeah.
A symbol of, automotive excellence and innovation. And having them in F1, it could really be a game changer for attracting new fans, especially those who maybe haven't traditionally followed F1.
So it's about tapping into that national pride, seeing an American team go head-to-head with, these global motorsport giants.
Exactly. I mean, imagine the excitement if a young American driver, comes up through the ranks, challenges for the championship in a Cadillac. That would be huge for the sport in the U.S. It would be massive.
It would be a dream come true for so many fans.
Oh, yeah.
A story that would really capture the imagination of a whole new generation.
For sure.
But it's not just about the U.S., though, right?
Right.
F1 is a global sport, and Cadillac's entry, it's going to have implications far beyond North America.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Cadillac's a global brand, right?
Of course, yeah.
They've got this growing presence in, China, the Middle East, all these key markets. And being in F1, it's only going to enhance their brand image, make them more appealing to a wider international audience.
It's a smart move.
Yeah.
They're leveraging this global platform of F1 to enhance their brand, reach new customers.
Exactly. And then there's the media landscape, too. Think about it. With Cadillac and F1, you're going to see more media coverage. You'll see greater sponsor interest, a broader range of content catering to a more diverse audience.
So it's a win-win for both Cadillac and for F1. It's this kind of symbiotic relationship where both sides benefit.
Yeah, for sure. It's a relationship that could actually reshape the cultural landscape of motorsport, really.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting dynamic.
It is. And, it's all happening at a time when the sport itself is evolving.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about, actually.
Yeah.
Those 2026 regulations, the change is coming, especially with the focus on hybrid technology.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like perfect timing with Cadillac's entry. Do you think this alignment could be a real strategic advantage for them?
I think it could be huge.
Yeah.
The 2026 regulations, they mark a real shift towards sustainable technologies in F1. And
Yeah.
Cadillac, with their push towards electrification, with their road cars, they're really well positioned to capitalize on this technological evolution.
So they're not just joining F1 to race, they're actually using it as a platform to develop and showcase their expertise in hybrid and electric vehicle technology.
Exactly. And it makes sense, too. I mean, the global demand for sustainable transportation is only going to increase.
Of course, yeah.
So being able to showcase their tech in this high-stakes environment,
Right.
it's a really smart move. F1 becomes this proving ground, this high-speed laboratory where they can test and refine their technologies under the most extreme conditions.
And then, of course, that innovation, it trickles down to their road cars.
Right.
It benefits consumers, advances the automotive industry as a whole.
Exactly. It's a win-win for everyone. I mean, you've got Cadillac's entry, the 2026 regulations, the growing appeal of F1, the increasing demand for sustainable tech. It really feels like we're at this pivotal moment in the evolution of motorsport.
It's exciting. I mean, there's a lot of potential here.
There is.
But with that potential comes a lot of challenges, right?
Of course.
I mean, what are some of the key challenges that Cadillac might face as they try to establish themselves in this incredibly competitive world?
Well, the first challenge is just the level of competition. They're going up against I mean, some of the most established, the most successful teams in the history of motorsport.
Yeah, the names that everyone knows.
Teams with decades of experience, teams that have won multiple championships,
They're not just racing against other cars, they're racing against history.
They are. They're racing against these iconic teams. Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull. I mean, those are names that are just synonymous with F1.
So how do you overcome that? How do you break into that elite group?
It's incredibly difficult. It takes time, it takes resources, and it takes I think, a lot of smart decisions.
Right.
And then there's the technical challenge. I mean, F1 is just this constant push, this relentless drive to innovate, to improve.
A technological arms race, really.
It is. And Cadillac's going to have to invest heavily in research and development if they want to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And then, there's the human element, too. Building a successful F1 team, it's about attracting and retaining top talent.
The best of the best.
Drivers, engineers, mechanics, strategists, everyone.
So it's not just about the car itself. It's about the people who build it, the people who drive it, the people who make all the decisions.
Exactly. It's about putting together this dream team.
Yeah.
A group of individuals who share this common vision, who are willing to push themselves to the limit to achieve something special.
Create something truly extraordinary.
Yeah. And that's not always easy to find, especially in a sport as competitive and as demanding as F1. It's a multifaceted challenge, and it's one that Cadillac's going to have to embrace if they want to, really achieve those ambitious goals they've set for themselves.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've explored all these different facets of Cadillac joining Formula One, the technical, the cultural implications, the business side of things.
It's been a really fascinating discussion.
It has. And it's clear that this move, it has the potential to reshape the sport.
It does.
It could have a huge impact on the automotive industry.
Absolutely. And it's definitely going to captivate audiences around the world.
Oh, for sure. It's an exciting time to be an F1 fan. There's no doubt about that.
It is. And I think Cadillac's arrival is only going to make it more exciting.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
But as with every deep dive we do, we always end up with more questions than answers.
That's the beauty of it, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
That sense of the unknown.
Yeah.
That's what keeps us coming back for more.
It keeps us engaged. It keeps us curious.
Exactly.
So will Cadillac live up to the hype?
Right.
Will they be a championship contender? Will they inspire a whole new generation of American F1 fans, American drivers? Will their innovations change the automotive industry? I mean, we're just at the beginning of this journey.
We are. And only time will tell what the future holds.
It's a story that's just starting to unfold.
That's right.
And we can't wait to see where it goes.
Me neither.
So thank you for joining us on this deep dive
It's been a pleasure.
into the world of Formula One and this exciting new chapter with Cadillac.
It's a great time to be an F1 fan.
It is. But remember, every deep dive is just the beginning of a much larger exploration. So keep researching, keep asking those questions, and stay engaged with the world around you.
Absolutely.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a new and fascinating topic.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, keep exploring.